Welcome back, my lovely beans, for another wonderful video today. We will talk about the dual Coda Torxcia. We finally have the Coda weapons. We finally are through the first rotation. Tonight started the new rotation. I'm currently for farming them. I already tested maybe and maybe not the pad assist, but that's not what the point is today. Today we are looking into these pistols. You might or might not realize that they are, looking similar to the, dual toxicist, right? But I wanted to test it out. I wanted to see, you can't compare them. It would not be fair. The toxicists are in common, but I wanted to see how good they are. And first things first, we will test them, obviously, with Yareli. Simply because, Yareli has the fantastic passive, first for damage vulnerability, and second for enhanced crit when she's moving, right? Here you see, gains 200% critical chance with secondary weapon when she's been moving for at least 1.5 seconds, together with arcane precision. Great way to, run anything you want. Lovely together with your C-Steers. I find it a great way to use pistols. My playstyle, if you don't like it, totally understandable. But first, for the build. It is one way, a little disclaimer before we talk about it. They are new. I have not fully tested it. I have not tested all elements. They are not 60%. It was the first, rotation. I have it ranked 5. I had, the opportunity to put a valence fusion in it. Means I can freely swap around the element. If you don't know what a valence override is, you can click on it and freely swap the elements around. I have not tested all of the elements. I, so far, only swapped it to toxin to have corrosive. I have not tested blast magnetic so far setups. I only tested corrosive so far. I will maybe in the future do a different setup. You will maybe see a second video for them in the future. But I wanted to give you my first impression to these. For the build, I went for a pretty standard setup, I wanted to say. We are running critical damage and punch through, galvanized diffusion for the multi-shot, target cracker for crit damage, galvanized shot, pistol gamut for the crit chance, prime conversion. Obviously, if you don't have the prime mod, run normal. You will realize a tiny bit less damage, obviously, but still great. Lethal turret from fire rate and multi-shot, and crosshair for the extra crit chance when you aim, together with that head. Or if you would like for fortifier, I think if I would run it actually for void cascade, I would prefer the fortifier, simply because overguard is a second layer of protection, as you know, and it will help you go through the overguard of your enemies. And this one is accuracy when aiming, or what I also feel like, but I didn't want to put in, maybe steady hands. It will fit because, as you all know, Coda weapons, lich weapons, whatever, they do have like a lot of capacity. Maybe steady hands, but I have not tested it enough. But that is definitely something. So, I will give you in total a few setups with different, frames that you can use for this one, but I wanted to show you. If you're wondering why explicitly I want to use Yareli, so far, correct me if I'm wrong, it looks like the damage of Yareli is multiplicative. So your one gives you damage vulnerability, and it looks like it is multiplicative. I'm not 100% sure, but it seems so far. So that's why I definitely prefer it with Yareli. What I forgot to say about the dual toxicist, what I really like about is actually the passive. I totally forgot to tell you that, right? The unique trait. Enemies damaged by the Coda dual Torxcia, I'm not sure how to pronounce the name, spread 3 spores and death, which will inflict cold status chance. Additional shots to infected enemies inflict 1.5 damage. And you will actually see that they're being like a tiny bit highlighted. So maybe you want to like make it more obviously and have like, you know, a nicer color. Oh, if I had like... See that highlight there? That's the spore. They're being highlighted. So that's definitely something. Obviously, you know, try to hit your headshots, you know. You will see how much that's actually like, you know, something you can do. You get your full stacks. Then, besides that, we obviously have... You could obviously use Loki, whereas Crepuscular, right? No. Besides that, you can obviously use, you know, Loki. If you're ever wondering, I do get my base damage from my Arcane. I do run Arcane Precision for, like, secondaries. So that's why I get a bit of my base damage for a lot of the things that I'm doing. From Loki, I currently get a Crepuscular buff, so I do get, like, extra crit damage from there, like a crit multiplier, which makes it, like, also, like, kind of nice. We can also tie it with Nyx if you wanted to. If I would hit. You know, having my pad active is maybe not, like, you know, the best. But, like, you know, I wanted to show you how cute my pad actually looks like. It's wicked waffled. It's a Sly. By the way, I'm a bit of, like, side info. Slies are, like, really nice pad. Not necessarily for, like, your invis frames in Void Cascade, but the Sly mod where when you jump around, the enemies will lose track of you. Great. Great for Void Cascades, you know, Survival Instinct. It's really great. Besides that, like, Loki really nice because, you know, if I now would, like, actually, you know, let me actually, like, show off a tiny bit. Let me actually, like, you know, prime. You know, let me actually, like... Get Nourish, you know, prime the enemies. And, like, you know... Do a little bit of that. Is it, like, the biggest number? No. Can you, like, actually compare to, you know, Toxicist? No. But, you know, keep in mind, they're, like, not actually incarnates, right? They're not incarnates, so obviously we don't get, like, you know, the full comparison. Then, what other frame? Probably Harrow, but I don't have my Harrow build. One day, I promise you, I will build my Harrow. But, like, you know, as always, you can do Harrow. We also can, like, test Frost, right? But, like, we can also test Nyx. You know, Nyx gains 40% crit chance on primary and secondary weapons per confused enemy. You know, so let's go. We will do Nyx. And then I will, like, show you Frost. I only find my issue with Nyx is since the enemies are, like, moving so weirdly. I find it, like, sometimes, like, a tiny bit hard to, like, actually hit enemies because, like, of the, like, back and forth movement they are doing. Same as, like, Silence. I find it, like, sometimes really tricky to, like, actually hit stuff. So I'm like, you know, what I'm supposed to, like, hit there, like, how I'm supposed to hit them, you know. So that is, like, you know, typical Nyx. Let me actually, like... I think I'm, like... Am I, like, on my wrong, like... Oh, I think I'm, like, on my wrong Wormy Splicer setup. Because I have a viral setup for my... That doesn't matter. I still, like, you know, put effects on. I do have a viral Wormy Splicer setup. There we go. It's really nice. Then we can test Frost. You know, I'm just going through all of the, like, frames that giving you a nice little buff. And you can, like, see what you actually like in the end. I find it, like, you know, when you're, like, asking me, do you need to do that? No, obviously you don't need to do that. But, like, in the end, whenever you're, like, running a new weapon, people are, like, coming at me with the same thing and, like, telling me, oh, yeah, like, that weapon is so great. And then I'm, like, in the end, I'm like, is it the weapon or is it the frame that is, like, you know, buffing? Is it, like, actually the buffs or is it the frame, you know, that is doing that, you know? So I'm allowed to, like, show you simply everything off and then tell you. I have a horrible aim with Frost because, you know, you barely see the head. But there we go, that's Frost. But I'm not sure, like, if I'm, like, a big fan of Frost with that setup. But yeah, obviously Harrow would be also, like, an idea. Kume, right? Kume buffing, you know, decrease. If you get decrease, you have time to ramp up. Especially with your new, you know, argument to get faster decrease. Don't forget that. Then probably Citrine, you know. Why not? We can test her. Let's go, girl. Lots of red crits. We do like that. We do like that. Right. I don't have enough duration on my Citrine for my 4 to be comfortable, I feel like. But, you know, you get the idea. I think my duration is only, like, you know, 10 seconds. But, you know, it's still there. But you get the idea. Really fun weapon. I do like it. What you also could do if you want to get, you know, a little more effects. You could probably run magnetic on the weapon if you wanted to. And then maybe drop crosshair. But, like, keep in mind, you don't really get to 100% crit chance. So you probably would like to get crosshair. If you run a Panzer where you actually do have reinforced bond, but keep in mind you need the overshields for reinforced bond. To have the fire rate, you can drop real lethal turret to actually drop that. Or you can drop merciless gunfight to simply play around and actually get have magnetic here and have toxin here then. If you wanted to have like magnetic, toxin, corrosive, just to have like more. But that is up to you. Test around, you know, don't feel bad, test around. But that's just a setup. You saw some like, you know, usage out of that weapon. That is just my first impression of that weapon. But I do really enjoy that weapon. So I wanted to give you like, you know, a first impression of it. So I will probably, like, whatever I like of weapons, do that more, but I will not give, like, you know, a full run-through of all Coda weapons. Because I only want to, like, show stuff that I really enjoy. I don't want to, like, you know, pressure stuff. So, thank you so much for watching. Have fun with the Coda weapons. Don't burn out of the update. And see you next time. Bye-bye!